Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer.com. Today on our 2018 Honda HRV, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 1 Trailer Hitch Receiver. Many of our HRV customers are going to primarily be using this hitch to carry accessories, things like a bike rack. And that's probably my favorite thing about it. Now, if you're looking for a bike rack that'll work good with this hitch, I'd recommend the Thule Helium Pro. And I say that because the Helium Pro is really lightweight, and that's going to be able to save some weight and possibly carry some heavier bikes or not come close to maxing out your hitch. It's going to offer us plenty of clearance, that way we don't have to worry about our racks interfering or contacting our rear bumper. Now this is a Class 1 hitch, so it's going to have that 1¼ by 1¼ receiver tube opening. And it's even going to have a reinforced collar for some extra strength. Now it is going to have the 1/2 inch size pinhole, which it does not come with a pin and clip, but if you need one, you can pick one up on etrailer.com. It also has plate style safety chain openings, which are actually quite big and offer plenty of space to use just about any size hook that you might have. This is another thing I really like about this hitch, is the fact that it has a reinforced collar. Many of the other 1¼ hitches on the market lack that, and in my personal opinion, I think it just gives it a more put together or finished look. As far as the hitch's weight capacity goes, it's going to have a 200-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating. So that's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on our hitch. So that's going to be perfect for your 1 or 2 bike racks. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 2,000 pounds, or the amount of weight pulling on our hitch. So the weight of your trailer plus anything you might have on it. Now do keep in mind, it's always a good idea to check with your Honda's owner's manual to make sure your HRV can pull that much weight. Now keep in mind, CURT does require the use of a stabilizing strap for all non-trailer loads, and if you need one of those, you can pick one up here at etrailer.com. Now I'm going to give you a couple of measurements. You're going to use these to help figure out which hitch-mounted accessories to use. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's about 14 inches. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper, that's about 3 inches. You're going to use that measurement to figure out if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in the upright position without contacting the bumper. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's go ahead and install the hitch together. To begin our installation, we're going to need to lower our exhaust. Well, to help support it while it is lowered, I'm going to use a safety strap, put it from one side of the car to the other. To actually lower our exhaust, we're going to have to disconnect 3 rubber hangers, just like this. Now 2 of them will be back here by our tailpipe. Now I went ahead and used some penetrating oil just to spray it on our hangers, and it makes it a little easier to get off. We'll take a pry bar and push it off of our muffler. And the 3rd hanger that we're going to take off will be a little closer towards the center of our vehicle. We'll get that off the same way. Just use a pry bar and pop it off like that. Now we can prepare our hardware and put it in our attachment points. We're going to start over on the driver's side. Our attachment point is going to be this hole right here. Now what we're going to do to get our hardware in there, we're going to use the fish wire technique. And so what we'll do is take one of our included fish wires, and with the coiled end, we'll push it through that hole and push it back to this larger hole in the frame right above this wire. Kind of get the coiled end out, just like that. Now what we're going to do is put on our spacer block, and we're going to thread on our carriage bolt. Now it's very important that we use the longer carriage bolt over here on the driver's side. Once we have it like that, we can fish up our spacer block and our carriage bolt and pull it down through our hole. And over on the passenger side, here's where our attachment point is going to be. Now we're going to use that same fish wire technique to get our hardware in. However, we're going to be using the shorter carriage bolt. We're going to have one more attachment point, and it's going to be in the center of the car. We're actually going to use this factory tow hook. So we'll take our included U-bolt and just set it over it just like that. Now we can lift our hitch into position. So we'll put our fish wires through the hole on each side. And then we can lift our hitch up. And I've actually found it is easiest to get your U-bolt through the hitch and start it first. That way it'll kind of support itself while we work on the rest of the bolts. Push it through. Then we're going to use a flange nut on the other end of our U-bolt. Now we can go to each side and get our flange nuts on hand tight. So we'll unthread our fish wire and get our flange nut started. With all of our hardware in place, now we can tighten it down using an 11/16 socket. Now for the U-bolt in the center, it's a good idea to run each nut down evenly. That way it'll pull together nice and straight. With everything tight, we can now use a torque wrench to torque all of our hardware down to the proper specification. You can find that torque spec in your instructions. So now we can rehang our exhaust. Now I did find that this hanger can be a little challenging to get on because we don't have as much room. So one of the things I found that will really help us accomplish that is if we go towards the front of our Honda and actually loosen this hanger too. And I use the same method. I just sprayed it down with some penetrating oil and a pry bar to pop it off. So now we can start with this one and kind of push our muffler forward, or towards the rear of the vehicle rather, and get it lined up. With those in place, don't forget to reinstall the one we removed towards the front. With our exhaust supported, we can now take off our safety strap. And that'll do it for our look at an installation of the CURT Class 1 trailer hitch receiver on our 2018 Honda HRV.